Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining our webinar tonight. We're going to host Let's Talk About Social Security. Ron Corser is going to be our speaker for tonight. I have this great little whiteboard behind us and he's going to ask you a series of questions. Please put everything in the chat box for us below in our Zoom meeting, and I'm going to act as your mediator. And as you ask questions, I'll interrupt Ron and do my best to get in there get some answers from Ron. Once again, thanks for joining us. We have a fun little surprise if you hang out until towards the end. Without further ado, here's Ron Corser.
Hello everyone, I'm Ron Corser. I'm one of the partners with Cornerstone Retirement Partners. What we're going to talk about today is Social Security. Now, Social Security, it's just two words, but there's about this much rules and regulations in the Social Security handbook. So it can be a little more complicated than it should be from my point of view, but we're going to go through some of the basics and I think you'll enjoy it. If you have any questions or have any comments, put them in the chat box. We sure would appreciate that. And after the end of this presentation, stay tuned because we have a little, not a contest, but a way somebody can be blessed by something, and we'll go forward from there. So let's talk about Social Security. The first thing I'm going to start on talking about is we're going to have a spot quiz. I know nobody was warned of it. You didn't get to study for it. When I was going to school, whether it was high school, grade school, or college, I hated those things. It was like, then it's not fair. Well, as I grew older, I found out life wasn't fair. So we're going to have a spot quiz. Here's the first question I have, and you can respond in the chat box. What year was the Social Security law put into effect? When did it come into effect in the good old United States of America?
Well, it looks like we got a couple of responses, Ron. I have 1935, 1940, 1932.
Well, that's not bad. 1935 it was when Social Security became the law of the land. Now here's the second follow-up test question. What year was the first Social Security payment made to the first Social Security recipient in the United States?
We have a few more responses. It looks like 1950, 1956, 57.
As I would say, close but no cigar. The first payment was made in 1937. And the name of the guy, it was Ernest Ackerman. And he was paid a lump sum, a one-time distribution out of the Social Security system of 17 cents. That was the first payment they made. And then things progressed. In 1940, the Social Security system adopted the policy of paying a monthly benefit. So can anybody take a guess at what the first monthly benefit was paid in 1940?
Someone said $20. We have $40. Oh, someone put 5.
That's a pretty good answer, really. It was $22.54. It was paid to a lady named Ida Mae Fuller who lived in Vermont. So in 1940, they started monthly payments. Now, interestingly, Ida Mae was in the Social Security system for only 3 years. She paid a total of $22.08 into the system. When she turned 65 in 1940, she began her monthly payments. She lived to be 100. And she took out of the Social Security system almost $22,900. So she put in about $25, she took out close to $23,000. That math is still going on today. For most of us, if we live long enough, at least to what we call the average age, life expectancy, we probably will take out more out of the Social Security system than what we put in. I'm all in favor of that. That's just the way it is. But what it does do is it puts some Social Security, some problems in the Social Security system, some pressure.
Would I be able to collect Social Security, Ron?
Say that again?
Would I be able to collect Social Security?
That's a great question. I get that a lot. Will Social Security be there? We'll be able to collect. Here's my response. I think anybody 40 years and over they're going to get Social Security in some form. Do I think younger people will get it? I think it's quite possible because it's one of those things now that's been so embedded in our culture and in our economic and government system. I find it hard to believe that they would just eliminate it. What I do think will happen is they will make some changes in the system. Why is that? Well, right now, if you read your Social Security statement or go online to socialsecurity.gov, there's a statement they make which is kind of interesting. They say if no changes are made in the Social Security system by 2034, sometimes they'll go to 2037, we only have about enough money to pay 79% of the benefits. So benefits are going to be here. What we got to pay for it is here. Something's going to change. What'll change? Anybody can make a guess. I think full retirement age, which now is 67 at most, I think they'll increase that. I think they'll probably increase ultimately the income levels that will be used to pay into the system. They make some cost of living adjustments. They're going to make adjustments, but I don't believe they're going to get rid of the Social Security system. So why is that important to know? When you're planning for retirement income, and it's what we do as a firm, Social Security planning is a very important and integral part of income planning. So I always tell people, plan on Social Security. Let's plan on you getting it. If you're more comfortable with, say, taking a reduced amount of your Social Security benefit just for planning purposes, we can do that. So we can create a plan for you using full Social Security benefits and adjusting them down, whatever you're more comfortable with. Both approaches make great sense, by the way. But Social Security is an interesting topic. Here's a third test question. How many people are in the Social Security system as of 2021? Put your answers in the chat, in the little box that we have for you. Doom, doom,
70 million, somebody said. Someone also commented 660 million. We have 55 million.
Those are good answers. And somebody almost hit it right on the head. There's about 69 million people in the Social Security system. And interestingly, about 55% of everybody in the Social Security system is female. Women make up a majority of what's in the Social Security system. And think about why. Women tend to live longer. They tend to live longer than men. And it's an important planning concept when we do income planning. I had a really good buddy of mine. He was a minister. And I once asked him, why do women live longer than men? And it was his response that he thinks women live longer because God needs to give them a couple of years to recover from all that wonderful time he spent with us all our life. So I don't know if that's true or not, but he was a holy man, so I tend to go along with him. So one of the key things when we talk about, and we're going to focus on here in a minute, is that when it comes to Social Security planning, it's not just, let's just take it now and be done with it. You have options. One of the things we offer for free, and you can have part of it, is we will do a Social Security analysis for everybody that comes into our office. And there'll be at least 3, perhaps as many as 4 options. Taking it early, taking it later, mixing it up between couples. It's a little more direct with a single person, but it's important to have different options. So if any of you would like to have a Social Security analysis done, just put it in the check box, tell us who you are, how we can get you the information. What we need from you then would be your Social Security statements. If you're a couple, we need to know what those are so we can run them through our software, and we'll provide that analysis to you free of charge. You will find it very interesting, and it'll help you make really great decisions when it comes to income planning and retirement. So let's keep going here and go forward and say, where are we? When it comes to Social Security planning, the key issue is full retirement age for most people. And what is that? Does anybody have any idea what's the earliest you can take Social Security and what's the latest in terms of age that you can take Social Security?
Go ahead and type in your comments in the chat box. What age do you guys think we can take it out the earliest, and what's the age we could take it out the latest? Don't be shy.
Yeah.
Okay, I had some people put 55, 60, 62. Some people said 62, 70.
That's a good answer. This is a smart group in today's program. The earliest under normal circumstances when somebody can take Social Security is age 62. The latest you can take it is age 70. And in here, between 65 and 67, for most people, is what's called the full retirement age, FRA. You'll see these letters in a lot of information that you get from Social Security. So the earliest you can take it is 62, the latest is 70. So what happens if you take it early? Basically, you'll take about a 25% reduction in what your full Social Security benefit would be at full retirement age. You get a reduction. If you wait, this goes up about 8% a year to as much as, for some people, it could be at 132% of your normal FRA, the full retirement age. So depending on when you take it, it has a great impact on not only income, but also what happens to survivor spouses. What do I mean by that? For married couples, generally there's a difference in the amount of Social Security one person gets versus the other. So when we do a lot of income planning for people, we really focus on Social Security. How do you get the most out of the system? One of the key issues, though, is what happens if the spouse with the highest benefit dies. Well, what happens is that, obviously, the surviving spouse gets the higher of the two benefits, the higher whichever one is biggest. But that means there's a cut in income. So one of the things that, in terms of planning, is figuring out, well, how can we maximize what we call survivorship income? And that really is another facet of the whole Social Security issue. And it's part of the options that we provide in our Social Security analysis. So again, if anybody wants it, contact us, tell us how we can communicate with you and send the information to you once you send us what we need. Be more than happy to do it. This is a very worthwhile piece of information for you. So, you have this range here. Now, note, anybody born before January 1st, 1954 has even more options than are available to most of us today. This is a little more in-depth, and it's a little beyond what we're going to talk about today. But for any of those that were born before 1954, if you want some analysis done, we can help you with that too, because there's some great options that are still available for those folks back here. So full retirement age. It's important to understand the options. So let's do this. Let's take a little look at two couples. Now, before we go into the couples, this is Ricky and Lucy. I want to talk about two specific things here. Number one, for divorced people. If somebody's been divorced, you have opportunity to collect Social Security disability, not Social Security disability, but Social Security benefits based on a former spouse. How does that work? Number one, the divorced spouse has to be at age 62 at least. They have to have been married for at least 10 years and are not currently married. That allows that spouse to take a look at an ex-spouse's beneficiary benefit for Social Security, and if it's higher than the divorced spouse, they can access that benefit. But it's only 50% of the maximum full retirement age benefit for the ex-spouse. I have one client that's got 3 of those options, and she does okay. You can only pick one option, but you have options here. So that's for divorced people. There's some other little things you have to be aware of, and we can go through that if you have questions on it. What's the other little caveat? What about if I want to work? What about if I take Social Security at 62 and I still want to keep working? Does it make sense? Because some people say, oh man, you just got to get into the system now because it's going to be gone. Again, as I said at the beginning of the program, it's not going to be gone. It won't be. But you need to understand earnings limitations. So if somebody quits at 62 and starts taking Social Security, what happens? In that year and going forward, you're allowed a limit on how much money you can earn before you give back Social Security benefits. So for 2021, if you take Social Security, say at age 62, and you keep working or start a different job, you're allowed to make approximately $18,960. For every $2 over that, you get back $1 in benefits. So it's very important when it comes to planning on Social Security to take into consideration a couple of things we've already talked about. Number one, how much will I get? Number two, I have some earnings limitations that I have to be very aware of. So when you take this also depends on how healthy are you. I once, they're no longer alive, but in the beginning, the late 1990s, the husband had a couple heart attacks. He was 59 years old. And they decided to retire early, and they could. They had done well. But their whole plan was to take Social Security at 62. Why? Because with his health condition, chances of him living to be 100 are pretty slim. His wife was also not in great health shape. So that's a situation where, okay, we took it early, makes great sense. The point of all this is that there's no wrong decision when it comes to taking Social Security benefits, as long as somebody's helped you take a look at all the different options. What does it mean if I take early? How much money can I earn? Do I have enough assets from other places to supplement my income? So whatever makes sense for you as an individual, if you have all the data in front of you, you can make great decisions, and we can help you with that if you want us to with a Social Security analysis. So if you want that kind of help, put it in the chat box and we'll help you out as fast as we can. So let's go to another scenario with a couple. I'm going to go on Ricky and Lucy. I still watch Lucille Ball reruns. I love them. It's funny. And if you remember, Ricky was always running around the house. For those of us who were a little older or watched the reruns, he always had on a sport coat, a tie. Once in a while they had casual clothes. Lucy was always home with a dress. But she did have a job, and she on occasion went to work in a chocolate factory.
Well, Ricky was an executive for a marketing firm or something of the sort, right?
He was. He was a big dog in the world of finance, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, he did well. He did really well. And Lucy got the job in the chocolate factory, and she worked there, but she didn't work as long as Ricky did because she would be home taking care of little Ricky. And my fondest memory of her being at home is she was always vacuuming. I guess that was a key part of the story. But let's take a look at what happened with Ricky and Lucy when it came to the Social Security strategies that were available to him. So Ricky, his full retirement age was 67. Lucy's was also 67. But Ricky made a lot more money and had a lot bigger Social Security benefit, which is kind of normal at times still in our country because of women not working full-time taking care of children. So his full retirement FRA benefit of Social Security was $3,000. Now, Lucy decided she wanted to take Social Security early at 62. Her full Social Security benefit at full retirement age would have been $1,000. But she's taking it at age 62, and this is an important concept because a lot of people say, well, I have been told that I can get half of my spouse's larger benefit. You can, as long as you follow the rules and regulations. So with Lucy, she's taking it at age 62, which means she's going to take a reduction in her full retirement benefit, about 25 or so percent. Let's just say she gets $700 at age 62. Now, it's important to know that if you take Social Security early, that's the maximum you're going to get. It doesn't continue to go up like this. But what happens later on down the road? So she's taking it at 62. When she gets to be full retirement age at 67, she's eligible to get half of her husband's benefit, Social Security benefit. But she started early and she took a little bit of a cut. But the difference in between this, she's allowed half, is $1,500. She took 7, so she gets another $500 here, and her benefit becomes $1,200. So she's able to kind of jump on her husband's part when he takes his Social Security benefit. Now, the other part that's important in the planning here, when Ricky dies, she will lose her benefit and get his benefit. And this is where the income planning and spousal income planning comes into play, because it has a lot to do on what we do in terms of the strategy of taking our benefit sooner or later.
And because Ricky was the higher of the two FRAs, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
That's why. That's how it works. So you see there's options here. Sometimes with Social Security business, it's as clear as mud for people. It's a government program run by government bureaucrats, so it's going to be a little fuzzy in places. But we can help kind of shave that fuzziness off. So if you're interested in figuring out what's the best strategy for you, what's the way we can access the most money out of the Social Security system, because you've earned it, you put money into it, it's yours to claim. Give us a call, put it in the chat box, say you want a Social Security analysis, we can help you with that. That's a key part of what we do when it comes to income planning and retirement, because most people, approximately 85% of the people, Social Security benefits are a key planning part of the whole income and retirement plan, if you will. And we've been doing this for 26 years. So thank you for listening. I hope this has helped you in some fashion. Again, hold on, because Beth is going to announce a little contest we're going to have. I finished grading everybody's answers in this program. And because I grade on a curve, everybody gets an A+. So well done. Good and faithful servants. Thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you the next time we do one of these.
I've seen we've had a lot of questions during this webinar. I apologize that we've ran out of time. Please go ahead and email us those questions. What I wanted to discuss is we are going to start doing a monthly raffle. Once a month when we do these webinars, we're going to draw for that raffle, and you will receive a Harry and David basket delivered to your door. This goodie basket has an assortment of snacks, and sometimes like just little trinkets. They're very nice gifts. So I hope you send us an email, whether if it's asking for a specific topic that you would like us to go over, if you have questions about this webinar, or if you just simply want to say, enter me in the raffle. I will go ahead and do that for you. I also once again want to thank everybody. Next month, our webinar is going to be hosted by Nolan Gosley. He's also a financial advisor at Cornerstone Retirement Partners. He is going to go over, the topic is decoding new investments. It's going to be very interesting. He's going to be talking about the 2021 market. I think it's been a little bit of a taboo, especially with the pandemic. So this could be a very insightful webinar. Please go ahead and register as soon as that form is up. After this webinar, I'm going to be sending you an email with a SurveyMonkey link. Please give us our feedback. We value your opinions. We want that feedback to make sure that we are continuously improving. I will also send you a link for a one-on-one phone conversation with Ron. It's a 15-minute phone conversation to answer any questions or concerns that you may have. You have full access to schedule that appointment yourself based on the availability that we put in the calendar. So go ahead and click on those links, and once again, if you have any questions, please feel free to send me an email or email us at info@roncourser.com. Thanks again. Have a great day, everybody.